What's going on? Matt Savoca here from Awesemo.com, bringing you the Week 17 Sunday Night Football DraftKings Contenders video. This is Vikings versus Packers, an old divisional rivalry, and the Vikings fighting for their playoff lives. They'll have to do so without starting quarterback Kirk Cousins on the COVID-19 list. That means Sean Mannion, backup quarterback, is in this week. 13-point spread now with that backup quarterback news. This could get ugly, but before we get into this one, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel so that you always know when we're going live. You guys know what to do. And if you could give me, Matt Savoca, a follow on Twitter at Draftaholic, that would be much appreciated as well. We'd also like to thank our presenting sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is offering player props contests for not just the NFL, but for all major sports and a lot of niche sports as well. If you have a niche sport knowledge, then Prize Picks is the place to play. Player props contests where you can either play power plays where you have to get them all right to get huge prizes, or just get a few right in order to 1.5 or 2x your money as well. So many ways to play. And if you go to awesemo.com/prizepicks-promo, you can actually use your Prize Picks sign up to get a month of Awesemo Plus Platinum, a fantastic deal. Again, that's awesemo.com/prizepicks-promo. Okay, guys, on the screen here, you see my 10 through 6 for this Vikings-Packers Sunday night game. At number 10, Marquez Valdes-Scantling has a 23% chance of being in the optimal lineup, and he has this nearly as many air yards share as Davante Adams on this Green Bay Packers passing attack, while not having nearly as many targets, an 18.5 average depth of target for MVS this season. He is a big play waiting to happen, even if he doesn't get that many targets. At number 9, it's Greg Joseph, and number 8, Mason Crosby. Yes, these offenses could theoretically struggle in the expected cold weather, and that's where kickers come in. A 25% chance for Joseph to be in the optimal lineup, and a 30% chance for Crosby to be in the optimal lineup. At number 7, it's AJ Dillon, who at one point was trending towards being the leader in the Green Bay Packers backfield. Now that's sort of back to Aaron Jones. Still, AJ Dillon used heavily in the goal line situations for the Packers. They could absolutely be there plenty of times this Sunday night. And finally, number 6, backup quarterback Sean Mannion. Yeah, it doesn't look great. The Green Bay Packers are up to 4th in PFF's team defensive grades. And yeah, it's going to be tough without Thielen on the field either, because he had season-ending ankle surgery. But still, he's a quarterback on a single game slate. He's in the optimal lineup 41% of the time. Doesn't quite make the top 5 though. Who does? Let's watch him find out. At number 5, it's running back Aaron Jones, and you want to play running backs who are 13-point home favorites, and that's what Aaron Jones is. Especially with the cold weather expected, the Packers could end up leaning on their rushing attack plenty in this game, and Jones has gotten way more usage in the last 2 weeks. After 8 total opportunities in week 14, in week 15 he had 15 total opportunities, and last week 18 total opportunities, including 6 targets. That's what we'd like to see. He caught 5 of them, 87 total yards. He's had over 13 DraftKings fantasy points in his last 2 games, actually his last 3 games here. He is in the optimal lineup as a flex play over a third of the time, 36.3% of the time to be exact, and he's got a solid ceiling, over 30 fantasy points in 17.5% of our latest simulations. So I'm not surprised to see him even sneaking into that optimal captain spot nearly 10% of the time. Aaron Jones trending towards being that running back 1 on the Packers once again. He's in the optimal lineup 46% of the time. At number 4, it's Justin Jefferson, and yeah, Jefferson is going to get there if you played this slate over and over again like 1,000 times or something, because of the amount of volume you can expect to get from Sean Mannion. But from an efficiency standpoint, we can't really expect a whole lot. For as good as Jefferson is, he is going to be blanketed by this top-notch defense, and their secondary is really solid in Green Bay. 4th ranked PFF team defensive grade, and they're getting healthier as well. Still, Jefferson is the kind of player who can overcome a really bad matchup and a really bad game script, and he could even overcome a backup quarterback situation. That's why he's getting 30 fantasy points in 25% 24% of our simulations, but you gotta look out for the floor scores here. He's getting under 10 fantasy points in nearly a fifth of our simulations, and honestly, I think if you kind of put your hand on the dial a little bit with the way that Sean Mannion has played in the past and the way the weather is looking, it might even be more in terms of percentage than that. Still, Jefferson, an excellent player, having an incredible sophomore season after an amazing rookie year. He is in the optimal lineup 49% of the time, even sneaks into that optimal captain spot 9.6% of the time. A really good player in a really bad spot this Sunday. At number 3, Dalvin Cook. And Dalvin Cook really is the linchpin of the Minnesota Vikings this week, and he usually is. Obviously, he's a great player, but the Green Bay Packers are significantly easier to run against than to pass upon, which is where Cook will come in. He will get used probably 25, maybe even 30 total opportunities with a backup quarterback in play this week. That's why you're seeing him get over 30 fantasy points in nearly 20% of our simulations. And Green Bay is 31st in the NFL in yards allowed per rush attempt this season. Not very good. The last time Dalvin Cook faced a bottom 5 rush defense, week 14, he had 28 total opportunities, 28 total touches, I should say, 222 total yards and 2 touchdowns. That's the kind of game that the Vikings need in order to keep this game close. I'm not sure that that's going to happen for sure, but it's absolutely in the range of outcomes for Dalvin Cook. He's showing up as the optimal captain play 11% of the time, an optimal flex play nearly 41% of the time, and that median projection 17.6, even in a bad spot, he's getting into the optimal lineup 52% of the time. At number 2, Aaron Rodgers. 11,200 is tough, especially if you're going to go all the way to the captain spot. But the safest overall player on the slate, under 10 fantasy points in just 13% of our simulations. Totally understand why. Rodgers is back up to number 1 in the NFL in adjusted yards per attempt. He's number 3 in total expected points added and number 1 in total QBR. He is a fantastically efficient quarterback, and he may not need to throw all that often. I mean, he's averaging 34 pass attempts over his last 3 games. That's not so high. But you could easily see 3 or even 4 touchdown passes on that small amount of passing volume for Rodgers. The Vikings are terrible against quarterbacks and wide receivers, areas where the Green Bay Packers thrive, and that's why you're seeing him score 30 or more fantasy points in 28.5% of our simulations. Aaron Rodgers is a lock for a flex play in cash games, and is in the optimal lineup 65% of the time in our latest run of simulations. Now, before I reveal my final play, my number 1 play on DraftKings for this Sunday night football slate, the final Sunday night football slate of this 2021 season, just want to remind you guys, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel so that you always know when we're going live. You guys know what to do. And if you could give me, Matt Savoca, a follow on Twitter at Draftaholic, that would be much appreciated as well. Also want to give a shout out one more time to our presenting sponsor, Prize Picks, offering player props contests for all major sports. Go to awesemo.com/prizepicks-promo and you can get a month of Awesemo plus platinum when you sign up for Prize Picks today. Okay, let's get into the number 1 play for Sunday Night Football. And at number 1, it's Davante Adams. You knew it was Adams once Rodgers came in at number 2, right? And the salary is a little bit less than Rodgers, 11,000 on DraftKings, but the ceiling and the floor just as good here. 37.2% of the time, he's getting over 30 fantasy points, and just 12% of the time, he's getting under 10 fantasy points. He's an optimal captain play, a ridiculous 28% of the time in our latest simulations. That's just amazing for a wide receiver. Just a great median projection as well, 23.1 DraftKings fantasy points, and the Vikings are bottom 3 in schedule adjusted fantasy points allowed to the wide receiver position and the quarterback position. They are bottom 3 in yards allowed per pass attempt. This is not good when you're playing a player like Davante Adams, who is top 5 in yards per route run, fantasy points per route run, and getting targeted at the top 5 rate in targets per route run. it's going to be a problem stopping Davante Adams. He already had 7 receptions for 115 yards and 2 scores against this same Minnesota defense. I am expecting a very similar performance this Sunday night. He is the #1 play on DraftKings for tonight. And that is going to do it for the Week 17 Sunday Night Football Contenders video on DraftKings. We will be back tomorrow bringing you the Monday Night Football Contenders video, the last Monday Night Football Contenders video of the season. Until then, I'm Matt Savoca from Awesemo.com. We'll see you guys next time.